kept using my makeup without asking, so I made sure she'd never do it again. So I had this roommate freshman year named Jess who literally could not understand the concept of personal space. Like at all. She'd walk into my room without knocking, eat my leftovers from the fridge, and worst of all, she kept using my makeup without asking. Not like a quick swipe of mascara either. I'm talking full face, foundation, expensive eyeshadow palettes, everything. The first time I noticed, I was getting ready for class and my favorite lipstick was just gone. Found it later on her desk with the cap off, completely dried out. I was annoyed, but whatever. I said something and she was like, oh my bad, I'll replace it, which she never did, by the way. Then it kept happening. My concealer would be half empty after the weekend. My brushes had different colored makeup on them that I definitely didn't use. One time I caught her red-handed using my highlighter, and she literally just laughed and said, you have such good taste I couldn't help myself. I told her probably 5 or 6 times to stop. She'd always say the same thing, that it wasn't a big deal and we're roommates so we share stuff. Except I never agreed to share my makeup that I paid for with money from my campus job. She had her own makeup. It just wasn't as nice as mine because I actually saved up for quality stuff. The breaking point was when I came back from winter break. I had this foundation that cost me like $70. I know that sounds insane, but I have sensitive skin, and it was the only one that didn't make me break out. I kept it in a specific spot on my desk. I got back to our dorm and immediately knew something was off. The bottle was in the wrong place, and when I picked it up, it was way lighter than it should have been. She'd used almost half of it while I was gone, and she didn't even bother wiping off the rim, so there was dried foundation caked around the top. I was so mad I literally had to leave the room before I said something I'd regret. That night, I came up with my plan. I went to the drugstore and bought the cheapest foundation I could find, like $3. Then I stopped by the makeup aisle and grabbed this self-tanning lotion that was super orange. Back in my room, I mixed them together in the cheap bottle until it looked somewhat normal. Not perfect, but close enough that Jess wouldn't notice since she clearly didn't pay attention to details. I took my real foundation and hid it in my closet behind my winter coats. Then I put the fake one in the exact spot where I usually kept my makeup, right on my desk next to my mirror where she'd see it. For like 4 days, nothing happened. I was starting to think maybe she actually learned her lesson. But then Friday rolled around and I heard her getting ready in our room while I was in the common area studying. When I came back, she was gone and so was the fake foundation bottle. It was moved like 2 inches to the left. I didn't see her until the next morning. She came stumbling in around 2 in the morning and I pretended to be asleep. The next day I had an early Saturday shift at the library, so I left before she woke up. When I got back around noon, she was sitting on her bed looking at her phone with the angriest expression I've ever seen. Her face was straight up orange, like traffic cone orange. It was so bad. She had clearly tried to wipe some of it off because there were streaks on her jawline, but it had already set into her skin. She looked up when I walked in, and I had to bite my tongue to keep from laughing. Did you notice anything weird about your foundation? She asked. Her voice was shaky like she was trying not to cry. I just shrugged and was like, no, why? She showed me her Instagram and there were photos from whatever party she went to last night. The flash made it even worse. She looked like an Oompa Loompa. People had tagged her in photos and there were comments with crying, laughing emojis. Someone literally commented, girl, what happened to your face, with skull emojis. Everyone was staring at me all night, she said. I thought the lighting was just weird, but then I went to the bathroom and saw myself. People were literally laughing. I walked over to my desk and picked up the fake foundation bottle. Oh, weird. Maybe it oxidized or something. That happens sometimes with makeup. She just stared at me. I could tell she was trying to figure out if I did it on purpose, but she couldn't prove anything. Yeah, maybe, she finally said. She spent the rest of the day trying to scrub it off. The self-tanner had stained her skin, so she was orange for like 3 more days. She had to skip her Monday classes because she was too embarrassed to go out in public. After that, she never touched my stuff again. Not my makeup, not my clothes, nothing. She barely even made eye contact with me for a week. Eventually, things went back to semi-normal, but she definitely learned her lesson.